Hello and welcome to UticaTV Overtime, where each week we will be keeping you up to date with everything that's going on with your Utica Pioneers. I'm your host, Andres Jaime Mendez.
And I'm your host, James Brown. Let's get right into the action from the past week. Field hockey met the Washington and Jefferson College Presidents to open up their playoff run. The two teams met earlier on in the season, with Utica taking it by a score of 4-2. But now, with their seasons on the line, the two programs were ready for battle. Utica opened up the scoring in this one when senior Shannon Jabrich found the back of the cage off of the rebound. It was the senior forward's fifth and most important goal of the season.
The Pioneers struck again in the second when Emily Frank ripped a heater from the back of the circle to extend Utica's lead. The goal marked the first in Frank's career, as Utica now led 2-0. Once again, Utica got one past the goalie. This time, it was first-year standout Alana Fragapon. The short-handed goal was her 7th of the year, and the final goal the Pioneers would score on the Presidents.
Utica went on to win by a score of 3-0. It was the 5th shutout from goalie Lila Cushman and the rest of the Pioneer defense. Junior defender Madison Rinaldi recorded her conference-leading 15th defensive save to preserve the shutout as well.
Last Thursday, the Utica women's soccer team faced an extremely anticipated matchup against number 1 seed St. John Fisher in the semifinal game. Pioneers have been eagerly gearing up for this matchup, and everybody knew it was going to be a good one.
Just 7 minutes in, the Cardinals began the scoring, led by Emma Osterhout. But just 3 minutes later, Utica's own Juliana Bailu tied the match with an assist from Jenna Keeman. The ball would go back to the other end of the field and go past Utica's goaltender by the Cardinals to give St. John Fisher yet another lead in the game. Shortly after, the Pioneers were back on the board and created another tie by none other than Jenna Keeman.
Pioneers Bolu and Keeman went on a rampage and scored yet another goal in the 44th minute, which gave Utica the lead at 3-2 over the Cardinals. Bolu got herself a hat-trick in the semifinal matchup, earning the Pioneers a 2-goal lead to the number 1 Cardinals, along with Jacinta Kaminsky joining in on the scoring.
The Cardinals were not going to go down without a fight. Megan Lita scored a goal late in the match, but it was not enough. Your Pioneers performed an outstanding upset, winning the semifinal game and taking down the number 1 seeded team in the conference at a final score of 5-3.
Pioneers were seeking to get back to the Empire 8 Championship game for the first time since 2013, as they took on the St. John Fisher Cardinals in the semifinals. The Pioneers fell behind early when in the 5th minute, Riley Reese put one past Fodi Exidius to give Fisher a 1-0 lead. Utica was able to get things going after that, as they ripped off 10 first-half shots. Despite not being able to score, the Pioneers rallied up momentum, going into the half, trailing 1-0.
The opportunity finally struck in the 63rd minute. Following a Fisher turnover, Cody Baker-Green found Baimungu Magushu as he converted to even the score at 1. After a scoreless final 27 minutes, these two teams went into overtime tied at 1. In the first overtime, Utica outshot the Cardinals 3-1, however, no goals were scored. In the second overtime, the fog became a major issue, as this match was going to have to be decided by penalty kicks.
Both teams were playing for their seasons, which eventually led to the Pioneers being up 3-1 in penalty kicks. After a Fisher make, it was up to Magushu to send Utica to the championship. He approached the ball and found the back of the net. The team gathered around Mugu as the Pioneers move on, winning 4-2 in penalty kicks. Utica is going back to the championship with a berth to the NCAA tournament on the line, as they will take on Madai on Saturday.
Continuing their playoff run, the field hockey team traveled to Hartwick to face off against the top-seeded Hawks. Utica was looking to get revenge after losing to the Hawks 3-1 nearly a month ago, while Hartwick was playing their own revenge game, as Utica was the team that eliminated them the year prior.
After a scoreless first quarter, Hartwick would open up the scoring in the second. They netted 2 goals in the quarter, with the first coming off the stick of Leah Tolley and the second from Holly Calor. Hartwick would extend their lead coming out of the half when Sydney Gagnon scored for her 17th time on the year.
Hartwick would score once more in the fourth quarter before Utica finally got on the board when Emily Frank scored her 2nd career goal and her 2nd of the playoffs. The goal brought the score to 4-1 with only a few minutes left on the clock. Hartwick would go and add another goal for good measure before the final buzzer, ending the Pioneers season 5-1.
Women's ice hockey hosted Arcadia University this past weekend for a Friday-Saturday 2-game series. The Pioneers are known for being strong on home ice, and looked to keep that going right from puck drop.
At just 8 minutes and 18 seconds, the Pioneers took the lead 1-0 thanks to a goal from junior forward Courtney Skidensky. The All-American Georgie Santulo scored her first goal of the 2022-2023 season around 9 minutes later, giving the Pioneers a 2-0 lead at the end of the first period. Over the opening 20 minutes of play, the Pioneers outshot Arcadia 17-3.
The Pioneers begin to really tilt the ice in their favor in the second period. With a flurry of goals, the Pioneers really start to run away with this game. Carrying on this scoring frenzy, the Pioneers seal this one with a final score of 8-0. Utica looks to carry their momentum into their next game.
The Pioneer women's volleyball team took on Hartwick College in the Empire 8 Conference semifinal matchup. The Pioneers took an early lead in the first set 6-1, as Hartwick was being repeatedly forced into mistakes by the defense. A block by Abrina Wadley and Peyton Migliacchio gave Utica a 10-3 lead at that point. Hartwick remained persistent, trimming the margin to 11-7 before going on a 6-point scoring run to regain the lead 13-11. The Pioneers answered this run from Hartwick, however the Hawks pulled away with set 1.
The Pioneers started the second set yet again hot, taking an early lead 3-0. A powerful offense from Hartwick, just like in the first set, pulled away and the Pioneers dropped set 2. The Pioneers, with their season on the line, showed emotion from the start of the third set, once again claiming the initial lead. The Pioneers struggled to gain points and quickly let this one run away. The Hartwick Hawks' offensive power is enough to knock your Pioneers out of play with a final score of Hartwick with 3 sets and your Utica University Pioneers with 0.
The Pioneer football team hosted Alfred University in a rather entertaining week of matchup. With multiple Utica records being broken, this game was historical in a dominant fashion. The game was quickly 3-and-out for the Utica's defense to start. The offense took the field. Quarterback Zelenovic connected with none other than wide receiver Nate Palmer for a 32-yard touchdown on the 4th play to make it 7-0 for the Pioneers. After Utica blocked the subsequent point after try, Alfred answered by gaining over 60 yards on the drive and then scoring a touchdown to make the score 7-6.
The Pioneers really start to fire on all cylinders through the first half, keeping the ball in the hands of our Pioneer offense. Utica's offense rushed down the field and set up a 26-yard field goal for Corey Lichtman to take a 31-9 advantage after the first half. With nothing but the same dominance from the Pioneers in the second half, brought this game to a Utica victory with much ease, with the final score of 65-16.
The victory marked the Pioneers' 8th of the season, setting a new single-season program record. Nate Palmer tied the single-season program record for receiving touchdowns at 15 after coming away with 3 in this game. Braden Zelenovic tossed a single-game program record with 7 touchdowns.
On Saturday, the Utica women's soccer team had another important matchup in front of them. This time, it was for the championship. The Pioneers kicked off against Nazareth College's Golden Flyers for the title. The Golden Flyers did indeed have home field advantage, so this was automatically going to be a test for the women's soccer team.
Nazareth had more shots than the Pioneers throughout the match, pelting shots from left and right at Pioneers goaltender Courtney Connolly. She made a total of 3 saves in the game, while Nazareth's goalie had 4. The match was a low-scoring affair as the Golden Flyers finally got on the board with 1 goal in the 33rd minute mark, scored by Grace Pileski. This was just enough for the Golden Flyers as they downed the Pioneers at a final score of 1-0.
The Pioneers had an outstanding performance all season long. We congratulate our players for their efforts each and every game. We can't wait to see them back in the field next season for revenge.
The women's ice hockey team took on Arcadia University this past Saturday. This game marks the second of the 2-game weekend series. The Pioneers skated with ease to find a victory in Game 1 and looked to find the same result. With much frustration, the Pioneers could not find the back of the net in the first period and surrendered 1 to Arcadia. Utica responded in the second period when forward Hannah Keating and Holly Silva assisted on Haley Maudlin's second goal of the season at 3 minutes and 53 seconds into the second period.
Pioneer goaltenders Joe Coates and Angela Hawthorne competed flawlessly in the second, third, and overtime periods to bring this game all tied at 1 into a shootout. Pioneers stretch out a win in 11 rounds thanks to forward Erica Schaefer's beautiful shootout goal. With a much tighter game than the previous versus Arcadia University, the Pioneers got the job done in unusual fashion.
The men's soccer team traveled to Buffalo over the weekend to play in their championship game against the Medaille Mavericks. After squeaking by top seeded St. John Fisher, Utica was looking to ride the momentum to their first championship berth in 9 years. The Mavericks got on the board first when Solomon Koneski scored in the 15th minute. Utica would not stay down for long as Camerlinho found the back of the net for the first time all year. This goal tied the game up at 1.
Medaille scored again at the 41st minute when Eder Castillo netted his 21st goal of the season, put the Mavericks back on top with a lot of help from the Buffalo Wind. After halftime, Brian Magushu broke up the defensive struggle, evening the game again. The playoff hero's 9th goal of the year tied the game once more, this time at 2. After going into double overtime, the Mavericks were finally able to retake the lead at the 100th minute, securing a 3-2 victory. The loss ended Utica's magical playoff run with a second-place finish in the Empire 8.
This week, the men's and women's cross-country teams will be participating in the NCAA tournament.
Tournament will be on Saturday, November 12th. However, the time and location is yet to be determined. Keep an eye out on the Utica Pioneers website for an update on these.
As a part of Division III, this is an important meet for your cross-country teams, so make sure you show them support as they prepare.
After coming off of back-to-back wins, the Utica men's hockey team will look to keep momentum going as they take on Chatham University for a 2-game series. The first game will be at 7 p.m. on Saturday, while the second game will be Sunday at 3 p.m. Come out to the Adirondack Bank Center to root on your Pioneers.
Coming off of a great season, the men's basketball team looks to level up even more as they open this season this Tuesday versus SUNY Morrisville at Mega Court. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. and the Pioneers are riding a current 4-game winning streak over the Mustangs. And that's all the Utica sports we have for you this week. Be sure to keep an eye out for a Moose Minute series that takes an inside look at your Pioneers.
And be sure to follow us on social media to see when UticaTV will be broadcasting your Utica athletics.
Thank you so much for watching, and always remember to fear the Moose.